Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a Victoria suspect faces 2 charges of sex abuse of a child. 3 people have died in the flooding in North and Southeast Texas. And several candidates are in the running to be Donald Trump's vice presidential running mate.
We are looking at fairly quiet weather over the crossroads, a little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of sun, but warming temperatures is going to put us up into the 90s for the next few days. Yep, it's going to get hot. We'll talk more about it coming up in just a minute.
And the Astros dropped their series to the Mariners, and we have some area playoff matchups in baseball and softball. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia is off tonight. Victoria County deputies took a suspect into custody Friday. 52-year-old David Torres of Victoria faces 2 charges of continuous sex abuse of a child under the age of 14. Torres is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $100,000 bond. Victoria police arrested a 39-year-old suspect Saturday. David Lucio of Victoria faces 4 charges, including evading arrest with a previous conviction and tampering with physical evidence with the intent to impair. Lucio is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $55,350 bond. A 59-year-old suspect was arrested by DPS in DeWitt County Wednesday. Christopher Johnson of San Antonio faces charges of online solicitation of a minor, sexual performance by a child under the age of 14 years, and now 2 sexual assault of a child charges, the second charge coming from Gonzales County. Johnson is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $450,000 bond. Governor Greg Abbott says at least 3 people were killed in weekend storms in the Houston area. The governor was briefed on the flooding by emergency managers in Montgomery County Monday afternoon. He says that among the dead are a police officer and a child. At least 200 homes were flooded in Montgomery County's River Plantation neighborhood. Cleanup is underway and a disaster center has been set up with supplies to help people. The devastating floodwaters in Texas are still causing issues. Search and rescue teams statewide continue to patrol streets and neighborhoods. The recent storms prompted disaster declarations for over a third of the state's counties.
With swollen rivers still rushing, the rescues keep going.
We're at close to 400 rescues.
It was a busy weekend that continues for first responders across flood-ravaged portions of East Texas.
We've definitely had a lot of water in places that I have in my life I've never seen.
Despite the rain easing in the state Monday, unrelenting storms over the past 5 days have dumped over 10 inches of water in some areas between Dallas and Houston. That has some rivers surging past levels not seen since the Cat 4 Hurricane Harvey made landfall in Houston in 2017. The fierce current, just one challenge facing rescue teams.
You don't know what's in the water, whether it's ants, whether it's snakes, whether it's spiders.
When you have these flash flooding events, many times, unfortunately, they catch people off guard.
In several cases, people handing over pets before they get in a boat.
They know that their pets are like family members to them.
Where waters have started to recede, the new struggle for many is revealed.
We don't know, what's next, what should we tackle?
We are an island.
Clifton police used a social media live stream Sunday, warning residents to stay put and stay safe, with moving water over roadways still a major concern.
Heed those warnings. Get out and turn around. Don't drown.
The National Weather Service reports several dozen river gauges are still at some level of flooding, from minor to major. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Do you know anyone affected by the severe flooding near Houston? Yes or no? 77% of our voters say no. 23% say yes. We thank you for voting and we want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and I will have an update on 25 News Now at 10. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, we got a bunch of rain yesterday, but I am so glad that we didn't get as much rain as the people in North Texas, Southeast Texas. That is terrible.
People have to remember that night the storms were coming from West Texas, right? and they were headed toward us. So we were concerned something was going to. It skirted just to the north of us, right along I-10, and bam, hit Houston, and you saw what happened there. 10 to 15 inches of rain, all kinds of problems. For us, well, say hello to summertime. We're going to be in the 90s for the next 2-3 days, and tonight we're looking very carefully at Oklahoma. That will likely have a severe weather outbreak tonight, and it's just getting going. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Don.
Mac, thank you. After last Saturday's City Council at-large election, Eugene Bustamante is the new mayor of El Campo, if he wants the job. Bustamante, Blake Barger, and Kyle Wallace got the most votes. Barger and Wallace will serve on the City Council. Voters head back to the polls for runoff races May 28th. Early voting starts May 20th and runs through May 24th. Two candidates are on the runoff for State Representative District 30. A.J. Louderback has more than 40 years of experience in law enforcement and was elected as Jackson County Sheriff 5 times. He has also served as the Executive Director of the Texas Sheriff's Regional Alliance. He's an advocate for securing the border. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Attorney General Ken Paxton, Land Commissioner Don Buckingham, AG Commissioner Sid Miller, and former District 30 candidate Vanessa Hicks Callaway have all endorsed Louderback. Jeff Balknight previously served as mayor of Victoria. He received an endorsement from both Governor Greg Abbott and District 30 State Representative Jeannie Morrison. Balknight wants to focus on border security and business and economic development. Two candidates are in the runoff race for Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 3. Shannon Martin faces Brad Tucker. Martin previously served the Victoria Fire Department for over 35 years and is active in the community through organizations such as the Victoria Livestock Show and the local Emergency Planning Commission. He won 49% of the vote in the March 5th primary. Tucker has worked in the construction industry for 25 years in Victoria. He's also owned and operated Tucker Construction Company for 18 years. Tucker won 35% of the vote in the March 5th primary. This position works with the Victoria County Judge and 3 other precinct commissioners. Together, the Commissioners Court handles the financial decisions of the county. 3 Victoria hospitals were rated by the Leapfrog Hospital Watchdog Group. The ratings are based on factors like hospital leadership, cleanliness, and infection rates. DTAR Healthcare System North got a B rating. That hospital got a better than average rating dealing with bacteria. DTAR Healthcare System got a C rating with worse than average scores in urinary tract infections and surgical site infection after colon surgery. A C rating for Citizens Medical Center. That hospital got better than average ratings in dealing with most bacteria and blood infections and post-surgery infections. During a joint Trump-RNC fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday, the former president brought a handful of his potential running mates on stage. Some of those on the short list for vice president made high-profile TV appearances after the event.
Several of former President Donald Trump's potential running mates appeared with him at a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago over the weekend.
There's a lot of names that are in the mix. I'm honored to have my names as one of them.
House GOP Conference Chair Elise Stefanik, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum are among the names that have been floated.
Maybe there's a list of 50. If I'm on it, who would know? But it's not why I'm out supporting the president right now.
Several on that list seemingly continued their auditions with television appearances on Sunday.
At the end of the day, the 47th president of the United States will be President Donald Trump, and I'm excited to get back to low inflation, low unemployment.
Another politician who has been a part of the conversation is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. She also hit the airwaves this weekend defending herself after an excerpt of her book detailed her killing a goat and her 14-month-old dog on her farm.
This book is filled with vulnerable, painful moments in my life, filled with times where I've made very difficult decisions. The reason that this story is in the book because people need to understand who I am and some of those difficult decisions.
Sources say Noem was off the short list long before the excerpts dropped and won't be under consideration anytime soon. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The Democratic National Committee requested that judges throw out lawsuits related to voter rolls and mail-in ballots filed in 2 battleground states. The DNC filed briefs on behalf of the Biden re-election campaign in Michigan and Nevada. The filing argues that the lawsuits filed by the Republican National Committee are aimed at sowing distrust in the 2024 election. They're calling the lawsuits meritless and nothing short of political theater. Part of Crestwood Drive will be closed Tuesday morning. Crestwood will close between Navarro and Main Streets for paving operations from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. All businesses and homes in the construction zone will remain accessible. The construction is part of the Crestwood Drive Phase 3 reconstruction project. And Tuesday, there will be a partial closure of Weber Road in Victoria County Precinct 3. The closure is from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the 2100 and 2300 blocks of Weber Road. The closure is due to the removal of a cattle guard. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. 1 year ago today, several people lost their lives in a shooting at a North Texas mall. Also ahead, a police officer comes through for an expectant mother whose baby just would not wait. In North Texas, today marks 1 year since tragedy struck an outlet mall in Allen. A gunman opened fire on a crowd of shoppers, killing 8 people. Among those killed were 3 children. A permanent monument memorializing the 8 people killed was unveiled Monday. 7 others were injured in the shooting. The city of Allen will hold a memorial in honor of the victims and survivors tonight. Genes known to increase the risk of Alzheimer's may actually be an inherited form of the disorder. A new study published in the journal Nature Medicine shows that the disease may be inherited more often than previously known. Based on this new research, about 1 in 6 cases of Alzheimer's could be inherited. Researchers say that's because of a better understanding of the role that one type of the gene plays in a person's risk for developing the disease. A mother who just gave birth over the weekend says she's eternally grateful for a police officer who swooped in to help her at a critical moment. She was on the way to the hospital, but the baby just would not wait.
Destiny Allen says around 9 Saturday morning she was feeling a small amount of pain, but didn't think she was in labor.
And I was calling my mom. I was like, I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm okay. So probably like an hour and a half afterwards, I called her. I was like, Mama, come get me. It's time. It's time for us to go. We were coming up Greenwell, and it just it didn't go as planned.
She says the baby was coming and knew they weren't going to make it to the hospital.
And I kept telling her, I said, Mama, get him right there. Get him right there.
That someone was Corporal Jason Lee, who was patrolling the area.
Once I opened the door and, we seen the baby, I'm like, oh, man, like it's really going down.
After he assessed the situation, he says he thought back to his military and police training to help him deliver the baby.
All thing that was going in my mind was we got a mother, we got a child involved, and she's about to have this baby. I'm not a nurse, so, like, it means you do the best I can. And it turned out well.
Baby Noah arrived safely thanks to Corporal Lee, but he says everyone's applauding the wrong person.
Everybody saying I'm a hero. She's most definitely a hero, at her age, and she having a young, healthy boy in that situation, that environment. It takes a lot of courage.
Lee is kept in touch with Alan, and they both say they are forever bonded.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
A big help on yesterday, and I'm really grateful for you.
That's what we're here for. That's what we put this uniform on every day to help and protect and serve the community. So I actually put that on the task today.
And Baton Rouge police say the baby is doing just fine.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We had a little sun, a little cloud cover, and certainly more heat. As a matter of fact, we're going into a bit of a heat wave for the next couple of days as temperatures push into the 90s. We'll be talking about that and some violent weather up north. All that coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We were up at 87 degrees right about now. It feels like 93, and our high temperature got up to 89. Now, next few days, about 3 or 4 days, we're going to be definitely into the 90s. We're going to see still a lot of cloud cover, and that helps because that'll keep us in the low 90s. Out to the west of us, all the way out to, Del Rio, they're going to be looking at near 100-degree temperatures. So this is the first little bit of a heat wave for South Texas for the beginning of the season. And I've got a lot of other news that I got to share with you. The cloud deck did break off, and we did see a little bit of sun. But tonight, while we are fairly quiet here in the Crossroads, well, Houston is quiet, San Antonio's quiet, even West Texas is quiet. It is not quiet in Oklahoma. And ordinarily, I'd say, well, that's Oklahoma. We're not really good. But this is going to be a big problem. I'll tell you why. Already, big thunderstorms are firing there. And this is a rare occasion that tonight we're expecting an outbreak, a super outbreak of tornadoes. All the conditions are there. The storms have fired up. This is going to go on for several hours. And all of this area, basically from Wichita Falls north, Kansas, Nebraska, all the way up, is likely to see some damaging storms tonight. Ordinarily, you'd say, okay, it's a big deal, right? Well, let me tell you why it's a big deal. Oh, by the way, these are all the rivers that continue to be out of their banks in East Texas, pretty much from Waco all the way down to the Beaumont area. Of course, we were spared from all that stormy weather. Here's what we expect. The sea breeze will continue pumping up that moisture. We'll see a little bit of overcast, cloud cover in the morning hours, but then it'll burn off and it'll be rather warm and steamy for the next couple of days. You'll definitely start feeling the need to wear flip-flops, you know, I mean, it's that time of year, and we certainly are expecting that warm weather to push us into the mid-90s for about 2-3 days this week. But of course, the big story is to the north. Our atmosphere is too flat. It's too stable for anything to really pop. But here is the rarity. Oops, let me go back. I went too fast. Here's the rarity that we have is that we don't often see this. Okay, so watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're on the highest level 5 scale of severe weather outlook, and these guys at Storm Prediction Center are pretty good. So we're likely to see a big outbreak of tornadoes there in Oklahoma tonight, and that's just beginning within the last hour or so. So we're going to certainly be watching that just because it's going to be a very interesting story. For us, we have a chance of a garden variety shower around our area, especially tomorrow morning as we get on into the day. The Gulf moisture will roll in. We may see 1 or 2 little, but they're under the cap and therefore they won't be severe. It'll be just a little bit of mist, just enough to get your car you know, splotchy. But look at the temperatures. We're looking at 91 for us, 92 in San Antonio, but 100 degrees along the Rio Grande, and that won't be the last time. It may be one of many, many times to come. We'll talk about the tropics tomorrow. Looking at an 86 tomorrow in Port Lavaca, looking for an 88 to 90 out in Cuero, clouds and sun, and then rather warm all the way through Thursday. Then the tail end of a weak cool front comes and helps knock the temperature down back to more reasonable 83. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody that we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Don.
Mag, thank you. Zach Brown is here with your sports. He's talking playoffs, but just the high schools around here.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Astros, who might not even be in the postseason, but for some area round teams, we've got some matchups coming up in sports. After winning back-to-back series for the first time all season long, the Houston Astros in action yesterday at the Juice Box. They found themselves in a quick 2-0 hole in the second inning. It wasn't until the 6th inning when they finally got on the board, courtesy of Kyle Tucker. That's going to make it 3-2 Seattle. And in the 7th, Big John Singleton with his first hit in the series gives Houston the lead, but Josh Hader continues his poor start to the year. The Astros fall to Seattle 5-4. Seattle is in first place in the division, and we turn the calendar to May. The Rangers also trying to heat up and keep pace with Seattle, trailing early to the Kansas City Royals. The Rangers were actually trailing 2-1 with 1 out in the 9th, but Jonah Heim somehow keeps this one fair. The Rangers have come back to tie. Into extras we go. They take the lead in the 10th inning. Final score in this one, 3-2. Out in the NBA, the Mavs just defeated James Harden and the Clippers and rewarded their head coach. Dallas is extending Jason Kidd to a multi-year extension. In 3 seasons with Dallas, Jason Kidd has now gone 140 and 96 and has the Mavs set up in the Western semis against the Oklahoma City Thunder. In Crossroads baseball, we are heading to the area round of the postseason, and we have a big one happening here in Victoria. It's going to be the Ganado Indians and Refugio Bobcats, and while they may be in the same football district, they're in different districts in baseball, so they haven't played each other yet, but still 2 area teams looking to go one step further. I think we remember what happened last time Ganado and Refugio met in Victoria. This will begin Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. And speaking of Ganado, how about the Maidens moving on to round 3 in softball? They're going to take on the Weimar Wildcats. Ganado split their season series against Weimar in 2 close ones. Game 1 will take place in Cuero at 6 p.m. on Thursday. Shiner baseball also headed to the area round. They will face the Freer Buckaroos. Their series will start Friday, May 10th. All games will be in Karnes City. And a positive update on Texans star receiver and former Houston Cougar Tank Dell, who was shot in the leg just a few weeks back. He will make a full recovery and be ready for the start of training camp. Dell broke his leg last year and was already getting ready to return from that before being shot. And just breaking, Spurs rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama, if it wasn't a guarantee a few months back, he is officially your Rookie of the Year. That is it for your sports. Don, back to you.
All right, Zach, thanks. And we're back in a moment. A bear wandered into the downtown area of a Florida city Monday morning. More on this Kodiak moment after the break. Tonight, law enforcement officers spent hours tracking, then capturing an unwelcome prowler in the downtown of a Florida city Monday morning. Yeah, Florida city. A black bear wandered into town around 4 a.m. Officials tried luring the approximately 350-pound big guy into a cage with food, but that did not work. The bear eventually climbed a fence into an appliance store yard, and that's where he was cornered and tranquilized. The owner of the store found out he had a furry visitor on Facebook. Now, if this happened out in the West, okay,
Yeah.
I can kind of understand
You
that.
kind of
but
associate it with
Florida?
mountainous areas,
Yes, but Florida?
Brown bears and mountains, right?
Yeah.
They say if it's a black bear, you fight back. I don't know if I'm.
I think the only,
Which is the one where you run away.
I don't know.
I think the only bear ever hit Florida was Gentle Ben. Remember Gentle Ben?
I do remember the old movie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but that was way back in the. Anyway.
I was a toddler, folks.
I was smaller than that.
Well, folks, the warm weather is here. You're going to be wearing flip-flops for the next couple of days because we're going to be pushing into the 90s. You can see right about there. That's only for about 3 days, and then we actually cool back down to the 80s as we get a little bit of a north wind that will help knock it down. And other than that, we're fairly quiet, but we're watching to the north where they're getting some big stuff tonight.
All right, thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.